All right, welcome back to another episode of One on One. Today, I'm here with Maxx Grieme. Max, how are you doing today?
Good. Thanks for having me, man.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for coming on here. So, you're all about baseball, right?
Yes, sir.
So, let's just start at the beginning. How did you get involved in baseball? Where did it stem from? And what led you to try baseball in the beginning?
My mom and dad put me in t-ball. They grew up. My dad played baseball. My mom's brother played college baseball. And he's been a big role model for me. And played t-ball all through up until I was about 9, and then I joined my first travel team with the hitting center in Springfield. Had a good couple years there, and it was good. But now I'm to where I am with Extreme Elite, and never looked back.
Did you ever play any other sports like basketball, football? Did that ever call to you?
I grew up. I played basketball. I played a little bit of soccer too, up till junior high, and then I played basketball up until my freshman year. Never played football. Kind of wish I would have, but never got to it, I guess.
So, what position do you play in baseball, and did you try other ones before you found what was good for you?
Yeah, so I always started at catcher, and that's my primary position. I've been there my whole life. Played a little bit of infield, played a little bit outfield, pitched a little bit, but that's in the past for a reason. But yeah, it's always been catcher pretty much, and t-ball. When no one really wanted to play catcher, I always wanted to. I don't know why, but I just fell in love with it.
What's the hardest part for you that you think of when playing catcher?
Probably trying to control a pitcher that doesn't really know where the ball's going. They're just guessing, and so am I. So just keeping the ball in front of me and being able to save some runs, and also help my pitcher at the same time by getting them strikes. Just controlling the game. I think it's difficult, but I love doing it.
So, what about when you're batting? Like when you're stepping up to the plate and you've got a guy throwing hard. I mean, what goes through your mind when you're trying to find that pitch?
Something that's helped me a lot throughout this past couple years when the velo keeps ticking up and facing guys that are going to college. Just trying to slow everything down. I'm not trying to swing as hard. I think swinging about 75%. Just letting my body work and just letting that flow state take over.
Making contact sometimes is all you need to do. Let the bat find the ball.
Yeah.
Are there any memories throughout high school or even before that really have stuck out to you when you're playing baseball?
Always, I like the big clutch moments. I've had a couple walk-offs in my life, but my first one was when I was 11. It meant a lot to me, and this past high school season I had two, and probably the biggest one that sticks out was against Jacksonville. It was a really good game. I played with a couple of Jacksonville guys in the summer. Colton Gatton pitched an amazing game. It was 0-0, and then Barron got on second, and then honestly I don't remember much after that, but I had a single to win the game, and I just lived for those moments. When I was walking up to the plate, I was just smiling because I know, I love this. I embrace this.
Those are the moments that you wait for, and you got to deliver. Are there any big moments that you get up there and then it doesn't end like that? You end up striking out or something like that, or are you always able to make something happen?
I don't really strike out too much in those big spots. I think I'm a better hitter in those spots than I am normally. But yeah, failure is all a part of it. If you give me 10 walk-off scenarios, I probably only do it 3 times. That's just part of the game, and that's why I love it. It's because failure is good.
And how do you cope with that failure, whether it's behind the plate and let's say you let a ball get past you, or whether you're up to bat? How do you cope with that and forget about it? Because at the end of the day, the game's still going on, or you'll have games in the future. So how do you move on from that?
That's something that's probably stick to me the most this day. It's a bad habit of just getting down, and it keeps snowballing. But after a big strikeout or I missed a couple balls while I'm catching, I'll go sit back in the dugout and I'll just sit down and clear my head and just remember why I'm playing this game. That's because it's a game. I've been playing it since I was a kid, and I love it.
And what's the coaching difference like? Because a lot of times you see in football or even basketball, the coaches will really just press you and get on you, and that a lot of times lead to better performances in those sports. But in baseball, it's a little bit more mental. It's a little bit different. So what's the coaching difference there like?
Yeah, and Sample's a good example. He's hands off until he needs to be. He lets us go. He lets us work on what we need to, but then he'll also be the first one to tell us or correct us or something. It just lets us play on our own, and it's a team sport and not just a coach telling us what to do. And I think that's just why we see success is because we're playing as a team. And everyone's mentally tough. We got almost everyone on our team plays another sport, and they see those different coaching styles. But honestly, baseball coaching is my favorite way because it's more hands-off. they tell us what to do to a point, and then we just play the game.
So speaking of failures and setbacks and overcoming them, you had a difficult setback freshman year with an injury. What was that, and how did you work past it?
So my freshman year when I played basketball, I tore my meniscus. I think it started in November, but I ended up not getting surgery till February. I didn't know what was wrong with me, but I wish I would have got it then. But it kind of exposed me of what, missed faults in my training, and it kind of just broke me down because I thought, I'm done. Like, what am I going to do? But it just made me so much more tougher with recovery and physical therapy, learning how my body works, and just changing the way I think. And I think, an injury like that, I think it's the biggest blessing I can get.
It's a great way to look at it. It's kind of the only way you can look at it when you're trying to get back out there. I mean, what's that mindset? Just sitting in the dugout, watching your guys play, but not being able to go out there, even when you feel like you're good enough, but you still can't because there's limitations.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and my freshman year, we had a good group of seniors. I wish I could have played with them, but I guess it wasn't in the cards for me. But it's hard watching, and that also taught me a lot too. Like, I gotta appreciate every single inning I can play, and I don't know if tomorrow's guaranteed or not, but I gotta take advantage and enjoy every single game that I play.
It's a great mentality, a great way to look at it. A lot of people say this, and there's two main sides to this, but a lot of people say that hitting a baseball, is the hardest thing to do in professional sports. Would you agree with that?
Absolutely. Now, golf, I did play golf this year. It's very difficult, but I don't think anything can beat hitting a 90 or 100 miles per hour fastball.
Especially when you see like those umpire cams behind the plate, just the speed that it's coming in is so difficult. And then think about going from that to an 80-mile-per-hour changeup or something.
Yeah.
How do you adjust? Can you actually recognize the spin as it's coming in? And you're a catcher too, so can you actually recognize that?
Being a catcher helps a lot. But yeah, I can see spin to a point. I could tell a curveball and not, but sometimes it's just coming at you so fast you just gotta hit it.
Do you have a favorite pitch? Like if you could tell the pitcher, hey, give me this, what would it be? Would you tell him fastball or what do you?
Probably either fastball, a little high, or just a curveball right down the middle.
That's your sweet spot?
Yeah.
Curveball down the middle? All right. Well, hopefully some other pitchers aren't watching this and getting a scouting report, or maybe they'll be nice to you and they'll give it to you in the future.
I think I could hit everything.
There you go. That's a good mentality. What are you looking forward to as it's winter right now. We're coming up on the spring. You're an upperclassman now. What are you looking forward to in these final 2 years?
I'm just trying to make an impact for Taylorville baseball. We got a good group of guys under us and a ton in the younger, like junior high and stuff, and I just want to bring that winning back to Taylorville. We haven't run a regional since 2013, and I think this year we can definitely do that. We got a good group of seniors, and I'm just trying to make a difference.
And when you're playing with different age groups as well, what's the bonding like? Like, is it automatically like you're good with these guys right when you go in, or does it take time to get comfortable with those guys? And a lot of them you've been playing with obviously for a while, but the newer ones especially, how do you make that connection?
Yeah, it's hard, just you got to remember that you're on a team and you want to win. You all have the same common goal. So that's making those friendships. You kind of have to prioritize that. You might not like them off the field, but you have to on the field. Mm-hmm. And, there's not really a bad teammate I have at Taylorville. I love all the guys, and we got a good bond. That's the best thing I can say is we're all friends. We all like being around each other, and we have fun.
So during the fall or during the winter or when you're out of season, are there other leagues that you play in, or are you always just staying on a weight training program, or what does that off season look like for you?
So in the fall, I do a couple tournaments with my travel team, and I do wood bat league at the high school. But pretty much after the summer gets over, I'm lifting more often, and then once games are done for good, like I'll have a couple of college camps. Once games are done for good, I'll get into my heavy off-season plan, and that's a lot of lifting, a lot of stretching as well, and trying to bulk up and gain as much muscle mass so I can look like a college baseball player. That's pretty much my one goal right now, is to look like a college baseball player.
So outside of just actually getting that practice in, whether it's for batting or playing catcher, are there any programs or anything that you've used, whether it's watching online or studying to learn how to get better at that position, or does it all just come with practice and getting reps?
I think I watch a lot of college baseball, and I follow a ton of accounts on Instagram, and just seeing like what the professionals do compared to me and take notes on that, and then I go and practice that, trying to be just as good and like make those less mistakes and just finding what works.
There's a lot of drills out there that younger coaches will teach the younger players. Are those still useful to you? Like even just the simple drills like hitting off a tee to the back of the net. Are those still helpful, or have you found newer ones that are better?
Yeah, I think just finding a routine for what works for me, but there's still some that I've been doing my whole life. I still hit off the tee almost every day, but there's also some drills that I could have never imagined of that I do pretty much every day as well. So it's a little bit of both. Just finding whatever works was the biggest thing, because I like to have a routine every time I hit, new drills, old drills, whatever, just getting a feel. But any drill really can be used, just whatever the player needs.
What about the diet? Do you follow any sort of type of diet, or is it kind of just whatever works?
It's nothing super specific. I try and get like 4 to 5 thousand calories in a day, hit my body weight in protein, stay away from too much bad fats. Fats are good, but no ton of sugar. Just keep it pretty clean. Just whatever. I look for carbs and calories and protein. That's really what a baseball player needs. Nothing too specific. Just
You just
calories.
want to get close in that range, right?
Yeah.
And then as long as you're working out and staying healthy, the rest will follow.
Yeah.
So taking a step back, you talk about college ball, professional ball. What are your favorite teams? Are there any players as well that you like to specifically follow or look at when you're scouting or just for fun?
I grew up Cardinals fan, big Yadier Molina guy. I think he's one of the best, if not the best catcher in the history of MLB. But I watched a ton of college baseball. A couple guys that have got drafted that I've watched and kind of flew throughout the minor league systems going up, like JT Realmuto and a couple other catchers now. But pretty much the one that sticks out to me the most is Yadier Molina.
Do you have any feelings about a couple seasons ago they switched to the pitch com, instead of the actual signs? I mean, what are your feelings on that? Like, I know me, I kind of miss having the signs because it led to like players being able to figure out what they are, not obviously with cheating,
Yeah.
but just like if there's a guy on second, kind of that aspect of the game. So what do you think of that?
I think I like calling signs. We have different sequences and stuff, so that doesn't happen. But I think pitch comp's good, especially to like Major League, where they probably have guys that keep track of what you call and like your signs and stuff, and they'd be able to get picked off pretty fast. So I think it's good. I don't think it needs to be used until college baseball though.
And you guys, high school is it always it's 7 innings, right? Just the whole thing.
Yeah.
And then that moves up to 9 in college and all that.
Mm-hmm.
Are there ever? I know doesn't Wood Bat League there are double headers a lot of times, right? Or like
Yeah.
you'll play in the morning and then not, and then again in the evening.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So do you ever get fatigues playing? Do you always play 14 innings or?
There's some days this summer that I played 3 to 4 games in a day, as crazy as it seems, but I mean, not really. As long as I stay hydrated and stuff, I'm used to it. It's nothing new, so yeah. There's sometimes if we have a ton of games in a week, that gets to me, but not really. I don't really get a lot of fatigue.
How many people have you thrown out trying to steal second?
Whew, quite a bit. I think this past high school season was 14.
There you go.
So, but it's kind of hard sometimes because, first and third, let them have second sometimes. Sometimes you don't, and sometimes it's on the pitcher's fault.
Mm-hmm.
But I can't. I try to do what I can, help the pitcher and the team out as much as possible.
Like pop time's an important thing,
Mhm.
trying to get the ball out. I know a lot of younger catchers especially struggle with that, just getting it out of the glove in time.
Yeah.
Is that, I mean, how did you find the confidence just to be able to get up and throw it? Is it just practice?
Yeah, I'd say practice, and I've never really struggled. I've always had a passion for trying to throw guys out.
Mhm.
I've been able to since I was young. That's always something I got complimented on, and hard work's gotten me down to where I am now, and I feel like anyone could try and steal, and I think I'll be able to make it close.
What's your favorite brand as far as bat, glove? Do you keep to the same thing, or is it kind of just a spread?
I like to change it up a little bit. I've tried hundreds of different brands and stuff, but nothing specifically. I'd like to get a little sponsorship so I can stop
Yep.
spending a lot of money, but
Get a little deal going?
yeah.
If anybody
that'd be
out there
awesome.
wants a deal, here you go.
Please hit me up.
Yeah.
But a couple wood bat brands that stick out to me are It's called American Batsmith. It's out in Utah. I've had a bunch of their bats, and I love them. But I'm a big small company guy. Like, I love stuff that, everything gets mass produced now, and it's not a ton of quality. I like the little things that last me a while, and it's handmade. I love it.
And so we talked about fall, winter, and spring a little bit, but during the summer, when there's no school, what does that time look like for you?
Usually when I'm not out of the state, I'll go lift or hit at my house or something. But I spend a lot of my weekends in the summer in Indiana, St. Louis, Cincinnati, Iowa. Been to Georgia a couple times, but definitely away from home a lot in the summer. But it's fun, don't have to go to school, so I can spend my days when I'm home just relaxing or spend the weekend in another state.
And as you get older and join different travel ball teams and eventually look to college, what's that recruitment process look like for you?
So it opened up August 1st where I can officially talk to schools. I've talked to a couple Division I schools, hopefully take a couple visits soon, gone to a couple camps. But I've also been in contact with a couple JUCOs, and I love the JUCO route. I still don't know where I'm going to go. There's not a single clue in my mind, but I have a couple ideas. Just wherever. My big thing is I want to play. I don't really want to go somewhere and sit for 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like that's such a waste of time, but whatever can give me the best opportunity to grow, show out my skills and where I can play and have fun.
Yeah, and like you said, you don't want to say you want to be able to work on your skills and improve, because at the end of the day, that's the only way you're going to continue to get better and then find opportunities elsewhere. Is there anything else that you look for in a school when deciding besides just the play time and that kind of factor?
Well, I obviously got to like the school.
Mm-hmm.
I think if I like it as a student, that's my main priority because my goal is to play college baseball, but I also need to get a degree and just be able to imagine myself being able to enjoy being there. Like, I'm going to live there for a long time. I know I can't come home every day or every weekend, but just whatever makes me feel like I'm at home is a big thing for me. I gotta love the coaching staff. Usually that's not a problem at college baseball, but sometimes it is. But I've met a ton of great coaches. There are quite a bit of schools that I've been at that I'd love to be able to play at.
So, talking about the college route a little bit now, after college, are there any careers that you've possibly thought about looking into associated with baseball?
Yeah, so I think about majoring in kinesiology and hopefully stay on the athletic side, maybe like a chiropractor or athletic trainer. But, I'd love to play or even do or work at baseball for the rest of my life, and I just love it that much. So being able to help young athletes or being able to help a professional team is something that I've always dreamed of.
So, right now you're a junior, you're taking classes at the high school, some Lincoln Land courses. I mean, what is the classes been like as you're, becoming an upperclassman and have to balance that time with working out and playing baseball? What's that been like so far?
Luckily I don't have too much homework because I use my time pretty well. But this year's definitely been harder than my first two, and especially with Lincoln Lane classes now, that's kind of helped me get used to like what college is like and what colleges require. But at the end of the day, I got to put school first, and some days I miss a workout because I have a ton of homework or I got to study for a test. But almost most of my time I spend quality time and I use it right, and just making sure I get all my stuff done while still being able to get better at baseball every day.
So we've talked about the weightlifting and the physical aspect of it, but I mean, how's the mental health when you're playing baseball? How has that changed for you, and what's it like currently?
I've learned a lot. That's something I struggled with. Self-doubt, and there's a lot of things that can go through your mind that sometimes you think about, like, am I supposed to play baseball for the rest of my life, or do I want to? But just being able to, go back home at the end of the day and, just relax about stuff and, just get my mind through things and realize and remember that this is a game. You're going to do bigger things in life. It's just a game. You're just trying to play it because you love it. But if I have to have a normal job or not, or if I get to play baseball professionally, whatever I do, it's all for a reason.
I feel like baseball, we already said, is such a mental sport. There are long stretches in the past. Obviously, it's good to hear you talking about how you can remember that it's a game and that wherever it takes you, it'll take you. But are there ever long stretches where you go through that doubt and you don't know if you'll get out of that spot?
Yeah, it's been a couple times throughout this summer and high school season, but when I was younger, it was really bad. I spent my whole winter training and stuff, but when came to game time, I wouldn't perform. My like 9 through 11, those years of my life, I trained a lot, but I didn't translate it a lot, and I think that's because my mentality and not just thinking right, because that is the biggest self-doubt. No matter how much you train, as long as you're not thinking you're going to go up there and succeed, there's no point.
And have you found a big correlation with your mindset when you're going up to the plate? If it's worse, do you perform worse?
Yeah, if I'm like doubting myself or something's carrying on from the day or the at bat before, I definitely strike out more or like mess up more, but you just got to play with confidence, and when I don't have that confidence, that it gets a lot worse.
And does that translate to with, let's say that you're catching and then you're due up next to bat, and let's say that you make an error or something in the inning before to end it. Does that translate over to like you're still thinking about that defensive play when you're going up to bat?
I try not to, but yeah, I try and make up for that. I guess like it's okay. I make an error or whatever. I'm gonna go get another at bat. Like there's always another at bat. So just trying to forget that stuff easy, and then just go keep playing like nothing happened.
So we've talked about travel ball and high school ball. What are the similarities between them or the differences? Is there a lot of a difference that you noticed, or is it pretty much the same?
It's pretty much the same to a point. It's different. I get out of school and I go straight to the field, or I wake up in a hotel and I go drive half an hour to get to the field. There's a little bit of a difference, but it's all still baseball. I play a lot better competition in the summer. Being travel around the Midwest, you see some dudes. There's a lot of good guys played against a lot of college commits that are probably going to play Major League Baseball, but also something that gets underlooked is how good Apollo Conference is in baseball. Played against a couple guys that are going to go play in college, and it's still baseball. It's just a different group of guys, and it's a different bit of like different scenarios and stuff. Sometimes I play different roles in the summer than I do in high school ball, but at the end of the day, it's just baseball, and all the guys I play summer ball and high school ball with, I love. There's not a single guy that I don't like, and I just get along with everyone, and I just play the game like it's nothing.
So you talk about traveling and like staying in hotel rooms and all this. How does your family support you with that? Because a lot of times I assume that you're traveling a lot, but how do your parents and your family support you when you're on those trips?
Luckily, I was blessed with two amazing parents, and they've supported me since day one, and I wouldn't be anywhere without them. So anything I want to do, they're always on board with. They spend a lot of their time in the summers gone with me and a lot of money, but they're always there to support me, and they're in it with me too. They want me to play college baseball as much as I want to play college baseball.
So you talk about days when you've played 3 or 4 games, or even just a tough practice. What's the recovery process for you like after that?
I try and get as much sleep as possible, go to bed early, stay hydrated, and get as much food in as I can. Make sure eat a lot of fruit as well, drink a Gatorade or something. Just maintain all like my hydration levels and my electrolytes and stuff to make sure my body recovers properly. And good sleep is probably the most important thing that I've learned.
Are there ever times when coaches or scouts for colleges come out or any showcases, and does that up the stress at all when you're playing, when you know those guys are watching you?
A little bit, but it's kind of before the game, like, oh man, this guy's here, this recruiting guy's here, or anything, college scouts. But usually I forget about it. Just try and enter like my flow state in the game and just play like it's nothing else. But yeah, there's been a lot of times that a college or a like reporting type of thing has been there. And yeah, I have thought about it a lot, like, oh man, he's here, I hope I do good or something, but I try not to. And it's kind of gotten away because I've been playing in front of scouts and stuff for about a year and a half now. So it's gone away with time.
So obviously in the MLB, you have 4 umps, you have replay angles, all this, and they very rarely get the call wrong. But in high school, a lot of times you got 2 umps, and it's hard for them to make the right call. So how do you deal with situations where maybe they miss a call that was right, especially if it leads to a big run or something big in the game that goes against you guys?
Yeah, and as a catcher, I have to communicate a lot. Like, I got to be best friends with the umpire and there are a lot of times where stuff goes wrong or a bad call that snowballs, but you got to kind of flip it around. You can't let this happen and let it keep going on. Just make the play, make something else happen. You can't just rely on the umpires to control the game. And when I catch, there are a lot of bad calls, but I've also gotten a lot of bad calls with me. Like sometimes our pitcher throws a ball that's completely off and we get a strike. That's just part of the game. So you gotta just take it and run with it, I guess. Learn how to deal with it.
What's the science behind framing pitches that are close? Like, how do you make them look good to the ump?
I've trained that a lot, but my biggest thing is speed and also, like, I guess smoothness. You don't want to see an umpire try and move it too fast or too much movement. Just try and keep it as simple and like straight as possible. And then throughout the years, I've added in speed, making my glove move faster, and that's just benefited me a lot with getting calls. That's probably the thing that I'd say I'm best at, is getting straight calls.
So, Max, thank you so much for joining us here today. But before we head on out with this one, is there anyone that you want to shout out or thank for supporting you on your baseball journey?
Yeah, my mom and dad especially. Nothing happens without them. And, some of my coaches with Extreme, like Kyle Welch, and my trainers, Jared Washko in Springfield, and then Brian Sample at the high school, has been a huge part of my journey. And without them, I don't think I'll be here today, along with a couple of family members that have supported me. All my family supports me, and I love them. My Uncle Seth, who is probably my biggest role model. Everyone else, like, someone always plays a part of my life, and I appreciate everyone that supports me or taking time to watch a video of me or share a video of me or come to my game. And it means a lot to me. As much as I have going in my life, I appreciate everyone that's ever done anything for me.
Well, that's awesome to hear, man. Yeah, I hope that your journey continues to go well and that you can have a great last couple of years of high school. Before we let you go here, I have a few rapid-fire questions, so just, I guess, whatever comes to mind first. See how this goes. All right, so favorite baseball player?
Yadier Molina.
Okay. That's what I thought you would say. That makes sense. What's your favorite go-to pregame meal?
Ooh, probably some pasta.
Some pasta, really? That doesn't upset your stomach or anything?
Nah, just nothing too special. Only marinara sauce. No
There you
Alfredo.
go.
Never Alfredo.
Never that. Do you, ever, or just not before a game?
Never.
Never?
I don't like Alfredo.
Okay. What's your most memorable game moment?
Probably this high school season against Jacksonville.
And if you weren't playing baseball, what sport would you play?
I think I'd be playing golf or basketball.
You big golfer?
Yeah, I love golfing. I do it a lot in the summer. It's frustrating, but yeah, I love it.
Golf is a very frustrating sport.
Very, very frustrating.
It's are there ever times when you're out there feeling good and you just shank one and then it's just it throws everything off?
Yeah.
What's your favorite recovery snack?
Ooh, probably a protein shake, I'd say.
Okay. I didn't have this one on here, but I just came up with it. How many MLB stadiums have you been to?
Only one, I think. I've only been down to Busch Stadium.
Busch Stadium.
I haven't gone to anything else. I'd love to.
Do you think you will in the future?
I think so, yeah. Especially this next summer when we're traveling a lot. I played in Cincinnati. I'd like to go see that stadium, and Milwaukee and Chicago. I'd love to go see those.
Awesome. All right, well, thank you for joining us here today, Max. Everyone, thank you so much for tuning in. If you want to follow Max's story, make sure you go follow him on Instagram, Maxx Grieme, to follow all along his journey. And make sure to follow us here at AR Productions as well. It's been a great episode of One-on-One. And Max, good luck with your season and the rest of your baseball journey. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you. I appreciate it.